When the world ceases to be the scene of our personal wishes and ambitions, when we face it admiring, asking questions as free beings, there is where we enter the realm of art and science. And that quote really sticks in my mind because what it's about is sort of letting go of the problem of self, of grasping ambitions and all that sort of thing, and just admiring life and nature for what it is. And when you're free from those sorts of desires, you're also free from bias. My interest is primarily in, well, just understanding how nature works, but also to look at a system that we can study and find out some fundamental principles that we can then apply to other systems.
I have known Professor Carlos Robles for 13 years. Carlos is actually one of the reasons that I'm here at Cal State LA. He was the person who primarily recruited me when I applied for this position. He was the person who was my handler, so he kind of steered me through the interview process, and he was involved in every aspect of my hire.
Some environmental scientists study air, some study the ocean, some study earth chemistry. You have a long interest in the place where land meets the ocean. Where does that interest come from?
Well, the rocky intertidal zone, it's a transition between the ocean and the land. That's been sort of a test bed for fundamental ecological theory for a couple of generations of ecologists now. So that's what I do. I test theory, and so I go to sort of the archetypal system to do that. I can tell you one thing. I did receive an award from the Society for the Advancement of Native Americans and Chicanos. That was an award for mentoring, but I think it was really a recognition of an environmental science institute that I founded and ran for 11 years here on campus, and that was called Seacrest, and it was one of its missions was to increase diversity within the sciences, especially the environmental sciences. So we did have Native Americans, but we also had a lot of Hispanics, and I mean, it looked like the face of Los Angeles. I mean, it was diverse as Los Angeles, which is, I think, a very good thing. So, you know, we did that, and it was quite successful, and we showed that in a very short time we could organize a program that placed significant numbers of underrepresented students in the sciences and in the environmental sciences, either in careers, professional positions, or in PhD programs for further training and so forth.
One of the things that Carlos Robles did as part of getting the Seacrest Center up and running was he secured a major donation from Morton Lecretz, whose name is on the building that many of the science departments currently reside in now. And Mr. Lecretz donated a large endowment to support environmental science here at Cal State LA.
I have been knowing Carl Robles for about 8 to 9 years. I joined the Seacrest when he was in charge of that project, but I was coming a little late. But after the program ended, we still stay in close professional relationship in the research and other activities.
Carlos is really, really great. He was one of the most encouraging and optimistic mentors that I've had in the sciences. He was always very concerned with promoting younger scientists. He was one of the leading voices in this biology department, sort of teaching us how to promote ourselves to the rest of the college and to the university and to the world at large. So I feel like he really helped to put this place on the map, at least in terms of environmental science.
These are the concerns. We'll lay out the context of why I was doing all these different tests.
Professor Robles is a role model for all the faculty. He is very dedicated. He goes out for external funding and very successfully. And I have been traveling with him a couple times to NSF and to other potential partners for our Seacrest project. What I learned from him is persistent and always looking for the funding to support our university and the students and the mission.
You know, if it weren't for Carlos, I wouldn't know things like the fact that polluters specifically target minority communities. and that there are direct links between environmental health and human health, particularly in the Los Angeles area. There's a whole field called environmental justice that was a focal point of the Seacrest Center that Carlos created, and he brought a lot of people to this campus to talk about that and educated our students about it and our faculty, like me.
I think it raises some significant issues of, that are right at the center of our democracy, consent of the governed. I mean, in environmental sciences, we're talking about issues that impact environmental justice, impact the quality of lives for some people, some ethnic groups in some places and not others, where there are class differences as well. And if they're not represented in the research and decision-making bodies, that really raises a very serious question of whether, in fact, there is consent of the governed.
Wave exposure, with the interaction term between initial trivium and wave exposure, and then it itself.
Well, I'm retired now, nominally, in name. So that means that I don't have to come in unless I want to. But I still have graduate students, and I'm still teaching, and I'm still doing research and managing grants and so forth. So I'm sort of working retired because, I'm doing the stuff I love, so I'm keeping doing it. Pleased to be here.